Gen X Joe and the youth gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere. Yeah. And then you've gone wild. Podcast is making your summer a blast. Lined up for interviews or rock. Legends in the game and new blood trying to make a name. Streaming everywhere.
What is going on, my fellow beach bums? Well, wait, I'm sorry. I shouldn't jump to conclusions. Maybe you are not at the beach. Maybe you are just on a staycation. That's cool too. But myself, Gen X Joe, I am actually on vacation for the next couple of weeks. And then I have a couple of road trips I need to go on with the family and a few other commitments that I need to be taken care of. Now, before you jump to conclusions, the answer is no. No, I am not going to jail. My youth gone wild side is way in the past. That's why my show is now called the Youth Gone Mild Podcast. And just to reintroduce my podcast, it is the Youth Gone Mild, where hairlines fade, but rock never does. And normally I would be saying I am coming to you from my studio called Wherever I May Roam. However, I am actually coming to you from wherever this summer takes me. And these episodes coming up in the next couple of weeks or month, I am calling them the vacation episodes. They are already pre-produced and going to be streaming throughout the entire month of July and possibly into August. I am still going to be bringing you the best conversations, the best stories, and of course, the best guest in the rock scene today. And hell, I have some legends and I have some new blood that's trying to make a name for themselves. Great interviews all lined up. And before I get to the interview, I just want to thank my sponsor, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. If you are a new artist, an established artist, or even an old head, and you are looking to book shows nationally, Lisa is the person you want to get in touch with. Tell her Gen X Joe sent you, and you can reach out to her on her website at celebrityeventsrock.com. For social media, for myself here at the Youth Gone Mild podcast, we are on all major social media platforms at Youth Gone Mild PC. And as I like to say, the PC does not stand for politically correct. All right, so it's time to kick back, crack open something cold, enjoy that sun, the sand if you're at the beach, and most importantly, the sound of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. I am in vacation mode, and these are the vacation episodes of the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Here's today's interview.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how are you, Mr. Corabi?
I'm all right. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you fine. You know, I'm having one of these holy shit moments right now, so
Why is that?
because I'm speaking with you.
Obviously, you don't have cable TV, my friend.
Hey, listen, I didn't have cable TV until the mid-90s. Where I lived, it did not exist.
Well, so sorry to hear that. I'm just fucking with you anyway. So it's all good.
Same here, man. But no, seriously, little holy shit moment going on right now, so.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. So I'm glad to be meeting with you.
You too, pal. I'm just hanging out, enjoying this lovely Nashville weather. It's been like in the mid 90s, and my wife and I don't know if you can see this, but I have a motorhome Yeah, it's like a tour bus sized motorhome, and I use it when I tour with the band. But my wife and I decided to take a few days, and I'm literally like 20 minutes from my house, but there's a beautiful lake here, RV park. So we've been swimming and having cocktails the last couple days, and just getting ready for the next round of touring. So
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that, man. You got to have some downtime, even if it's close to home.
yes, sir. It's been a good couple of days.
Yeah.
So
Well, speaking of the word day, let's just get right into your album, New Day. How's that sound?
awesome, nice segue.
I thought so. I was waiting for one to come about. So listen, man, I have to say, I fell in love with the song 1969. It does have that CCR feel when you listen
Mhm.
to it. And I'm sure it was designed that way, but for me, I'm thinking this is going to be a new anthem for you.
Well, I hope so. It's so weird. It's funny because uh, um, obviously I'm a bit old school, so it's been great. Don't I'm not complaining at all, but it is a little frustrating uh, trying to figure out how all this newfangled streaming, YouTube videos, you know what I mean? I'm so used to, bands, back in the day touring, uh, well, obviously doing a record, then touring, MTV, radio, um, and it just doesn't exist anymore. It's so weird. So um, it, it it's been good. The streaming is good, but in the grand scheme of things, when you start looking at, um, how many people are on the planet, and then you go, "Oh, killer! 11 people are listening to the songs right now." You know what I mean? It's like, ugh. Um, a lot of people have been digging the new record. So far, I haven't really had any negative feedback at all
That's
about the whole record in its entirety, but it's just trying to get it out there. And, it's like when I say it's frustrating, I've posted information about the new record pretty much on a daily basis since I decided to put a record out. I've told everybody who's in my band constantly on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. And it's weird. It's out there, but it's like, okay, how do I actually get people to go to my site and read and retain the information that I'm putting out there? Because they don't. So it's been a little frustrating, but it's, on the flip side, you know, everybody that is aware of how things are done now have been like, dude, you're kind of kicking ass right now. Like the streams are going really good. So it's all positive, I guess. I don't know because I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever. All right.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like me. I got a little bit of a handle on everything now with streaming and such like that. But if it wasn't for my oldest son helping me out and getting everything set up, I wouldn't be doing this right now.
It's definitely a young man's game. You know what I mean? This social media shit.
Oh
So
my God, yeah. And speaking of your band, man, you have a who's who with your touring section. You got Marty Fredrickson, you got Paul Taylor, Troy Lakuta. I know I'm forgetting somebody. Uh,
well,
boy,
it's Michael Devin on bass. Michael, I've known Michael forever. He played with me briefly with the Daisies, but Michael played with Whitesnake for like 12 years. And then Jeremy Asbrock, who played with Ace Frehley, Gene Simmons, and myself before. So it's a great band. Even with that, like we've been getting great reviews on the shows. Um, so life is awesome, man. It's been other than the fact that I don't understand how things work. It's been great. It's been awesome.
Well, I'm just going to go out on a limb here, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I know we look at those numbers with streaming and likes and follows and all that, but I'm going to imagine with that lineup, and even if it wasn't that lineup, just with you, you're putting a lot of butts in the seats.
What's funny? I think we do better in Europe than here in America. There's still a little bit of a disconnect here. We've done a few headline shows, and they were okay. But again, it's a new band. It's going to take a minute for word to get out. Um, uh, it's just kind of the way it is. You know what I mean? It's like regardless of who I have in the band, it's a new band, and a lot of people still aren't aware of the fact that I've got a new record out. So it's going to take a minute for the word of mouth part to kick in, and it's going to take a minute for the word of mouth thing to kick in for the live shows as well. But I can't complain. Like every place I've been to, all of the promoters have said they want us back. So it's been good. Nobody lost any money. It hasn't been sold out yet. You know what I mean? On my individual shows. Now, all the shows I've done with Tom obviously have been insane. But Tom's been doing this since 2014. So he's been doing this now for 10, 12 years. So, like I said, I'm still a new baby band. I will say this: the show, Tom, like I love my guys. Tom has been singing his ass off. Uh, it's crazy to me. I know all the issues he's had in the past with his voice.
Right.
I mean, even at one point, they said his vocal cords were paralyzed and they didn't think he'd ever be able to sing again. And the fact that he's going on stage and crushing it every night. And the crazy part is, I don't know if you play an instrument or not, but he doesn't down tune the guitars. He's in a regular straight guitar tuning, and he's playing that Cinderella stuff, first record. They recorded it in standard tuning, and he's singing it live on stage in standard tuning. So he's kicking ass. It's awesome.
That's amazing, man. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he hasn't. It's weird. And again, I've known Tom. Tom and I grew up in Philadelphia, so I've known Tom since the late '70s. And not to sound weird, I consider him a friend. Him and his wife come to my house all the time. My wife cuts their hair. So again, without sounding weird, I'm proud of the dude. I cannot believe that he's singing the way he's singing nightly after they said, well, you might not be able to do this ever again. And he's like, watch me. You know what I mean?
Since this is an audio podcast, John just said Tom told the doctors fuck off. So
Yeah. So it's like it just it baffles me every night. We all sit and watch him from the side of the stage, and we're like, oh my God, dude, he's killing it every night. So I'm very happy to be on tour with him. Very happy to call him a friend, and I can't thank him enough. I mean, this is the third or fourth tour, whether it be Cinderella or Tom's solo band, that he's taken my band or me as an acoustic artist, whatever. He's taken me on tour with him. So we're having a great time.
man, that's completely awesome. Especially, I mean, I didn't know you guys actually grew up together I knew you were from Philly. I didn't know you guys actually grew up together.
Yeah, we played in all those, we played in Philadelphia, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, down the shore, Atlantic City, Somers Point, Wildwood, New Jersey. We would go down and do the summer residencies. In the height of the summer seaside resort thing. And so we've known each other since, like I said, 78, 70, 77, 78. So we both cut our teeth in the same circuit. And then I moved to California. Tom got his record deal, and we've been kind of keeping an eye on each other for the last, 40 plus years. So it's been awesome.
And that's what friends are for. Sounds like a song title, right?
Yeah. There you go.
Right?
As far as Tom goes, dude, he's kicking ass.
He
That's
is.
all I can say.
He
Yeah.
definitely is. I got to see him a few years back. I know he's toured with LA Guns a few times, and he's out there with them again this year. But it was maybe 2-3 years ago I got to see him, and oh my God, it was a phenomenal show.
Yeah, and it's like I just toured with him in 23 doing acoustic shows, and I'm like, okay, how's he going to top that? And then obviously I've done a bunch with him this year, and I'm like, well, he did it, he topped it. So, but you know what? Again, even more than the music and Tom's performance, it's just been fun. Like I said, all the guys in my band live in Nashville. All the guys in Tom's band and Tom live in Nashville. So when we do get out on the road, it's like old home week. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then it doesn't hurt that, like I said, Tom and I have known each other since the late 70s. So uh, it's just fun, man. It's just easy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Even Tom's tour manager, Craig Bradford, I've known Craig since, early 2000s. He was a tour manager in RATT when I was in RATT. So it's just, the whole thing is just fun. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, I totally forgot for a moment you were in RATT. How did I even forget that?
It's not hard to forget.
Well, and I don't want to bring up any bad memories, and you don't even have to comment on this, so you can just stay silent. But I specifically remember a time when Steven was not quite up to performing, and you stepped in on lead vocals for, I think it was one night or 2 nights.
No, actually, it was one night, and that was a silly. It was just like a freak thing happened. We were actually in Mexico. We went out to lunch. The promoter took us out for some lunch, and we had some tequila. Not a lot, but I think it was stupidly hot when we were there. And I think just that little bit of tequila that we had, and then I might be wrong on this, but I believe Steven also had a nice big glass of water, which
Mm.
is not a good idea.
Mm.
And he just got started getting loopy. And then I was kind of looking at him, and at one point he went this way, he fell forward, and the audience pushed him back, and he just kept going, and he went right into Bobby's drum set.
Oh my God.
Uh, yeah, and to be honest with you, I still don't know what happened, because it wasn't like we were sitting there pounding tequila all day. We just had a couple of little drinks, but I think it might have been it was, like I said, it was like 95 degrees. And I think Steven may have had a glass of water, which,
Mhm.
if you've ever been to Mexico, what's the first rule they tell you?
Don't drink the
drink the
water.
water.
Right.
Right. And I think it might have been a combination of the heat, that little bit of tequila that he had, and the water. And he just, like, about a quarter of the way into the set, he just started getting loopy. And so it was funny. I think we did Round and Round, So I stepped up and I tried to sing Round and Round, and there was one other song. And then the guys just walked off stage, and I went back, and the audience was not happy, let's face it. So I just took my electric guitar and I went back up on stage and I did a by myself version of like Hooligan's Holiday and Man in the Moon, and played a couple of my own songs. And I apologized. I said, sorry, don't know what happened with Steven, but, and the promoter was just grateful that I went up and played a couple of songs. It was no big deal. But that was weird, dude. Like, everybody assumed Steven was just drunk, but he wasn't. We had lunch, and like I said, we did have some tequila, but it wasn't that much. But I think he had a glass of water, and then, like I said, it was fucking hotter than balls. That it was ridiculous. And I think the heat, the water, and whatever, that little tequila, he just started getting weird, and it was like he passed out. He just passed out. Shit happens sometimes. I've had that happen. Even with the Daisies, there was some times where I was singing on stage. We did a show in Portugal with the Scorpions, and I looked at the thermometer. There was a thermometer on the stage, and I'm talking at 6 o'clock at night, outdoors, but the stage temperature was like 124 degrees. So I'm singing. By the end of the first song, I'm drenched, but there was a couple of notes that I hit where it was like I just got tunnel vision for a minute, and I was like, I had to stop, take a sip of water, Diet Coke, whatever, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm back. But there was about 5 times in that set I thought I was going to pass out. So it happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it happens to the best of them, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up for me. I had no idea because, that's how people just assume things that, yeah, Steven was intoxicated and, you had to step up. But you did step up in a way, but not for the reasons everyone was thinking.
I was more concerned, is like, Steven okay? Because it was weird. I know, like, everybody's like, oh, he was on drugs, or he was drunk, or I'm like, no. And you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, and you overheat, and it's like your body just goes, go fuck yourself. You're done. And you pass out. So
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. So you mentioned The Man in the Moon from the Scream's debut album. I'll tell you what, that still resonates so much with fans today, including myself. Did you have any sense at the time that that song would have that much staying power?
No, to be quite honest with you, I didn't have much to do with writing that song. Those guys, prior to me joining, John and Bruce had already started working on that song with a guy named Jamie Brown. I always liked the song. They played me a demo of it, and only thing I thought about that song, the way they were doing it, was that it was a little on the fast side. So when we worked it up, I just kind of maybe got everybody to slow it down a little bit, and then we added like this big Zeppelin-esque jam at the end. So as it turned out, I did have a writing credit on it. You know what I mean? But I just love the song. It's just this vibey Zeppelin-esque. I love the acoustic beginning. So to me, that song, without sounding narcissistic or cocky, it's always just kind of had a Zeppelin vibe to it that I love. You know what I mean? But did I think it would be this, you know, 37 years later standout song? Not really.
Well, I'll tell you what, whatever you did to tweak it, it worked.
It was again, it was a group thing. Eddie Kramer was our producer, who also worked with Zeppelin. I don't like to take credit. I credit where credit is due. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it was a total group thing.
Mhm.
We were all very excited about our first record deal. That was the stars aligning perfectly for
Mm.
that group of individuals. You know
Well,
what I mean?
speaking of those individuals, was there ever any talk over the years of, even if it was a one-off, just getting the guys back together from the Scream?
Uh, Probably about 7 or 8 years ago, we got an offer. Might have even been a little longer, but there's a festival that they do every year in Japan called the Loud Park Festival. Don't know who it was, but my manager called me and he said, "Hey, if I could get a green light from the other three guys, would you want to do a one-off festival appearance with the Scream?" To be honest with you, at first I said no, because unfortunately our drummer that everybody knows from the Scream, Walt had passed away. But it was funny, prior to Walt, uh, we had another drummer named Scott Travis who left the band to join Judas Priest. And Scott's been with Judas Priest since the Painkiller record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So apparently my manager talked to Scott and he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it." So I said, "Well, okay, if you could if you can get the blessing of all four guys, I wouldn't be against it." But it was just too much weirdness and just never amounted to anything. It was just talk. You know what I mean? So that's done. It's been put to bed. Um, Walt passed away. Juan Alderete recently, a few years back, had a unfortunate accident on a bike. To be honest with you, he's riding a mountain bike, and he went over the handlebars and he hit his head, and he was in a coma for like months. So everybody's kind of just tapped out. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, you're still carrying the torch, though, in one way or the other. But hopefully everybody's at peace and loving what they're doing now.
Yep.
Mm.
Bruce is our guitar player from the Scream. He's been doing online lessons. He just did a G3 thing with Paul Gilbert. He's still kicking ass. Um, but I don't think John plays anymore. That unfortunately, the Scream has been put to bed.
I want to kind of circle around back to your new album, New Day. And you had mentioned a few times, you're living in Nashville now, and that seems to be a big hub for even rock bands and country artists, of course. But living there, did that environment kind of influence your songwriting approach to this new album?
But, here's the thing. Like, I've had a few people. Have you heard the whole record?
Just the ones that were downloadable.
There's a song on there called "Love That'll Never Be." There's a song on there called "Good to Be Back Here Again" that have a bit of a southern rock or maybe even to a degree country vibe to them. But the one thing that I said to Marty when I was doing this record is that I didn't want any boxes. Like I don't like these bands that, like, as soon as you do a record, everybody wants to try to figure out like what box it belongs in. Is it classic rock? Is it hard rock? Is it this? Is it that? And the bands that I did grow up listening to, like you said, Creedence, the Stones, Beatles, Zeppelin. I mean, the list goes on. All those bands from the 60s and 70s that I grew up listening to just had like this creative freedom to do what they wanted. They just they didn't think about it. And if you listen to, I'll give you a couple examples of something. If you listen to the Led Zeppelin song Hot Dog,
Okay.
if you listen to that, that's a full blown, almost country rockabilly song. If you were going to put it in a category,
Right.
if you listen to the Rolling Stones, people call the Rolling Stones one of the greatest rock bands on earth. But if you listen to songs like I'm Just Waiting on a Friend, they had a song Dead Flowers, Angie, Wild Horses. If you put those songs out right now, somebody would go, oh, that's country music. The city of Nashville really had no influence on what I wanted to do. It was more about the bands that I grew up listening to that just said, you know what? I don't give a shit. I like the song Dead Flowers. I'm gonna fucking record it. Yeah, okay, so what? It sounds a little country. Even the Beatles, if you remember, the Beatles at one point on an early record covered a country artist song, Buck Owens. They did a song called Act Naturally. It wasn't unusual for bands to do that, to step out of their safe zone and go into another boundary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I just like bands that are able to draw from different influences and somehow make it work. You know, I mean, even what's it, Diamonds and Rust by Judas Priest?
Mm-hmm.
That's a Joan Baez song. They had that creative freedom in the 60s and 70s to just do what they wanted, man. So I don't know. I just said I don't want to worry about categories. I don't want to worry about boxes. This is the music that I grew up listening to. I love the freedom they had, and this is the type of record that I want to do. So I did it.
And you know what? You killed it too. You absolutely did.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm very pleased with this record. I love this record. I love the lyrics on the record. And to be honest with you, I can't wait to start on record number 2. I'm like really super stoked. I've already been talking with the guys like, all right, let's get together and start putting some material together for the next one.
Now that's music to my ears right there.
Yeah, I'm fully committed to this. This is what I'm doing. This is what I want to do. So we're moving on.
Awesome. Now, I'm going to wrap this up here, but when I first got on, I told you I had a holy shit moment interviewing you. Yes, I was fanboying a little bit because I've always been a huge fan of yours. But have you ever shared a stage or met someone who made you so nervous that you thought, like, how am I going to get through this moment? Or performed with someone and you're like, how am I going to get through this set?
It wasn't like a planned gig, but I've had 3 of those moments. One was right after I joined Motley. I got asked to go to a wedding in Catalina off of California. And one of the guys that showed up at the wedding was Brian Johnson from AC/DC.
Oh, wow.
And we went to a party, it was like the pre-wedding party. Me, Tommy, and Mick, and we all got plastered. And Brian said we were at this little bar and there was a cover band playing. So we asked if we could use their gear, and we started jamming some AC/DC stuff. And I just had this holy shit moment. I was sitting there, we're doing Back in Black. Brian starts singing. And then I look and there's Mick playing guitar. Tommy's on drums. I was playing bass. And I'm just like, what is happening? That's number 1. Number 2, when we were recording the Motley record, I was sitting on a couch with an acoustic guitar and I just noodling around. Aerosmith was in Studio B. We were in Studio A. So I started playing all these old Aerosmith songs to myself. I was the only one in the room. And I started playing Seasons of Wither. And Steven crept up behind me and then wound up telling me that I was playing it wrong, showed me how to play it right. And then him and I sat on a couch and did Seasons of Wither together. And then the third time was when we were still doing the record. Robert Plant came to town. Tommy and I went to see him, and Robert asked us to come up on stage to jam. Tommy stood up. I stood up. We started walking. Tommy stayed behind. I walked up on stage, and the guitar player handed me a guitar. And I think I kind of pissed Robert off because he goes, "Do you know any blues stuff?" And I just started playing the beginning of the Lemon song.
Oh, God.
And he smiled, and then he put the microphone back in the thing, and he just walked off stage. And I was like, but I was so nervous. I'm like, whatever. And then the band just stopped playing, and we wound up playing Tush by ZZ Top. So
Please tell me you were able to talk to Robert Plant after that and clear the air.
yes, yeah, it was he wasn't very talkative. He had his eyes on a very exotic, like, I don't know if she was Indian or whatever, but there was some sort of, exotic island vibe to this chick, and he was all up in her Kool-Aid. So I'm like, all right, thanks for the jam there, Bob. I'll talk to you later.
Wow, man. Thank you so much for sharing that. I kind of know what you feel like, especially with you right there. Like, I could not wait for this interview. I was just like chomping at the bit, and it's here. I'm glad we got through it. I honestly didn't think I was going to get through this interview, to be 100% honest with you.
All good, buddy. You did a great job.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, I'm going to wish you the best of luck with the new album. Get those numbers up, which I don't know if I'd be too concerned about it, because believe me, I have a lot of friends, family, rock fans, and they know about the album. They do. So I really wouldn't worry about those numbers.
You know what? Look, at the end of the day, it's all going back to the old school method of word of mouth.
Yes.
Like I said, word of mouth. So my wife tells me all the time, she goes, "Babe, you just need to be patient. Let people talk about it. It'll happen." So
Your wife is a very smart lady.
yes, and now I'm gonna we just got back from the pool. I'm gonna take her out for a cocktail and some dinner, and maybe a late night swim. We'll see what happens.
Well, there you go. And no Mexican water, okay?
Yes, none at all.
All right. Well, hey, you be safe out there on tour, man. And hopefully when you swing around this area, I'll catch you on tour.
All right, brother.
All right, man. You take care. Peace out.
All right. Just because this episode is over does not mean summer is over yet. Oh, hell no. We still got 2 full months of summer left, but not quite 2 full months of pre-produced Youth Gone Mild podcast. I should be back second week of August with all brand new openings and closings. But until then, you're kind of stuck with what you got. And I do apologize for that. But like I said, we have a family vacation coming up, a few road trips, and other commitments that I need to be taken care of. I hope everybody understands. I'd just like to thank my guest here on the Youth Gone Mild podcast today, all of my listeners, and my sponsor, Celebrity Events by Lisa Gandia. And don't forget, if you like what you hear, go to my social media pages at Youth Gone Mild PC. Give it a like, give it a follow, leave a comment. And if you're looking for the next episode date of the Youth Gone Mild podcast to resurface, then just follow us on all our social media platforms. And don't forget, we are also out there on all major streaming networks. And give us a like and a follow there as well. All right, this is Gen X Joe telling you to rock loud, live proud. Peace out. Props everyone for listening to the Youth Gone Mild podcast, where hairlines fade, but rock never does.
Gen X Joe and you.